Hi, and welcome to the Yellow Rose Stitcher channel. I'm Autumn. This is, today is Thursday, May, 9th. So, if you're new here, thanks for clicking play and checking me out. This is a FlossTube channel, mostly about cross stitch, but I am a multi-crafter, so I do knitting and quilting as well that I show off sometimes, and I do have some today. I say this may be a little bit longer of a video. I say I haven't made one since February, so it's been a little while, but I'll try to keep it brief or not too terribly long. As I say, you get out of the habit of making these videos and it gets really hard to get back in the groove of getting things going. So I've tried a couple of times this week with no luck. And of course today it's cloudy and there's supposed to be a chance of severe weather heading in our way here. I'm in North Texas in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and hopefully I get this done before storms intrude on things. But like I said, so it's been a while. Time to get caught up and share with you what I've been doing and making, and so grab a glass of water or your beverage of choice. But thanks for coming by and hanging out. Yeah, as I say, it's been a while. I say there for a while I wasn't getting as much making done, so I didn't feel like I had enough to do a video and share, and so that's part of the reason, and travel and whatnot. But anyway, if you like, you can also find me on Instagram as the Yellow Rose Stitcher. Not overly post too much, but if you'd like to follow along between videos, you can find me there as well. And so I say I'm babbling now, so I guess I should get started and get to getting. Sorry. Anyway, at my last video, I had one new start, and this was Mercy and Grace by Sweet Wing Studios. And I was hoping to have it finished for Easter, but I didn't quite get it done. And since then, I haven't picked it back up since I didn't get it finished for Easter. But this was my progress on it. Let's see if I need, that's where I got to on it. But enjoying this. I should try to just pick it up and get it done instead of holding it till next spring. And I'm using, let's see, the fabric is 32 count Peaceful Purple Linen by Witchelt. And I'm stitching it with all the called for threads except for this dark purple. I went into my local shop, the Stitch Niche, and I forgot to bring the pattern with me to know what color I needed, so I just picked out my own dark purple, and I think it looks good. And it is Concord from Weeks Dye Works. So get that up where you can see it. So anyway, we'll see if I'll talk about this in plans later in the end, but it probably won't come out this month, but maybe this summer I'll pull it out and get it done, because it's not that big of a pattern. I know, as to say, something that small should be easily finished, but I squirrel easily. Sorry, there's a glare on my glasses, so I'm trying to keep them down where they don't do that, but I can still read. The other project that I worked on, and I'm trying to work on this regularly, but this project has been in timeout because it's not behaving. It's given me grief. The Austrian spot sampler from Romy. Let's say it's a big one, and I'm stitching it on. As I say, if you've watched me before, you've seen this. But it's being stitched on 25 count Potato Lugana. Yeah. And I'm stitching it with Weeks Dye Works Chestnut is the thread. That you can see. But the last time I had it out, let's say, and this is a big one. But this side over here, with all of these like fleur-de-lis looking pieces, the last time I had it, I was about, I think, up to here or down to here. So I've managed to get down to here. And I'm getting down to the bottom where you're supposed to start these scalloped like pattern. But my stitching is off because I've come to the end here, but I'm too high according to the border. So I've counted a few times and hadn't figured it out. So I folded it up or set it aside, and I haven't pulled it back out. So I need to, I say probably in June, I think I'll pull this back out and get to counting and see if I can figure out why I'm off, because I'm the right distance from the border above, but I think there's 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I have one more, but anyway, figuring out it's not going to line up where it's supposed to down here. So I don't know what I've done. So need some investigation work, but anyway, as I say, I probably won't get back to that because I got other ideas for this month. So, but I'm really hoping to figure that out and find my mistake and fix it, because I'd really like to get this done this year. It's been a whip way too long, and so I need to get it done and get on to other things. So that was, like I said, that one was a whip since February, but let's say it's been in timeout. Let's say I've had a couple of those here this spring. And my only other cross stitch whip that I've worked on is Spring by Cottage Garden Sampling, or Country Cottage Needleworks. Good grief, tongue's not working. So this one's almost done. I don't lack much. So I need to fill in the S and the P, and then I've got to fill in, there's 2 butterflies here and the centers of the flowers, and then there's a pink and white border that goes across the bottom there. Oh, and I have 2 pink flowers to put in on the sides. Do you see? On the pattern, they did the blues at the same level in the pink, but I'm gonna flip it so there's blue, pink, pink, blue, so it flips. I don't know, I didn't like them lined up, so I decided to flip them. So anyway, I should be able to get this done, and it's stitched on 16 count light blue Ada. So something that had been in my stash. So, but yeah, that's a fun little, oh, and I also have to do the back stitching up here to connect the letters on the banner. So I don't lack too much. Maybe, hopefully I'll get that done and be able to FFO it and have it out for next spring. Who knows? I doubt I'll get it done. I'll get it done for this spring, considering it's, May 7th. And this is in a bag that I got at a de-stash sale at the Stitch Niche from Mystic Mountain Creations. She sells her bags in the store, but she also sells them online. I thought loved the fabric. I say most of my other bags that you'll see are ones that I've made. I don't buy too many of them. So that was all of my cross stitching since February. So say that's partly why I hadn't made a video, because as you can see, I haven't done a whole heck of a lot. But I have been knitting and quilting, so I don't think I'll be able to show this whole thing. I had I don't know when I started this. It was before February, because I think I've shown this once before, but it's a free pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop called the Shortbread Quilt pattern, which uses a charm pack. So I had printed that off, and because and if you don't know what a charm pack is and quilting, they sell these little 5.5-inch squares, and it's, you know, a whole fabric line, and depending on how big the fabric line, sometimes the fabrics repeat and sometimes they don't. But this is another one. I don't have a whole lot of these. I've never been a big purchaser of the pre-cuts, probably because when I started quilting they weren't a thing, or they were just it came out after I'd been quilting a little while, and this one and the one I used for this quilt coming up were gifts, and so I finally was like, I need to find something to get these made. As I say, in these, I don't know if it matters that you know what fabric line it is. It's Summer House by Lily Ashbury for Moda, because I've had these in my stash for probably over a decade. Who knows? It's been a long time. Anyway, I took the charm pack with me to Joann's one day and picked out this loud blue. And I was trying to match this darker blue in the fabric. So this was as close as I got. Anyway, I can't show the whole thing, but got that done. And my plan is I'll try to maybe insert a picture here of it on the floor so you can see the whole thing. But this is just, I was going to give this away to charity. I had seen something pop up on my Instagram for Quilted for Kids, I think was the name of it. I should have written it down. Anyway, I was going to do it for that, but then I didn't realize until after I got the quilt top made that it's too wide. They have size requirements, and I'm guessing it's because of their own quilt machine or whatever. So this one is too wide to donate to them. And then I remembered there's a quilt shop here in town that I can drop off quilt tops for Project Linus, which is another charity that they give quilts to ill and traumatized children. So that just dawned on me, and I was like, so I called the quilt shop today to make sure they still took Project Linus quilt tops before I drove over there, and they do. So that's where this will be going. I say, because I don't want to I really don't want to quilt it myself, so nothing that big. I've quilted other things, but so that was a finish that I got done, I think in April. We've had a lot of rain this spring, still getting rain. There's been a lot of flooding down around Houston and some in East Texas too, so prayers for all of those folks. But we had a Saturday that I didn't have to be somewhere doing something, so, and it was a rainy, cloudy day. It was a good day the blocks were already done, so I was able to sit down and get that all put together and say, now I just need to go deliver it to the quilt store and it can be on its way. But luckily, to say they take quilt tops and we'll have volunteers that will quilt things, so win-win. So lastly, I have my knitting whips, and if you're new, whips is works in progress. So actually, I think I'll show you my finish first. So pull this bag. I watch a knitting podcast. It's the Bakery Bears. If you're not familiar, it's a knitting podcast, and she's doing a series this year and giving away a free pattern. So you just jot down the directions. Are pretty simple. Called the Reading Corner Cowl, and it's not every episode, but because they do other things in between, or they do videos every 2 weeks, and then so this one though, that she's reading a book and then she's dyeing yarn inspired by the book, and she's going to do 6 sections and 6 books, but I have no desire to buy and dye my own yarn, and I had this leftover yarn from another project, so I went ahead and just kept knitting and put it together. Really happy with how it came out. Love the colors. So, of course, I won't be able to wear it until probably next January and February before it gets cold enough. The other thing is mine is shorter than hers. She's doing 6 books, and but I had the 5. This gradient set was from Lay Family Yarns. They're in the UK, and this was their, forgot what year they did it. Lay Family Yarn. There was the Rainbow Yarn Chronicles, February, and it's a 75 merino, 25 nylon base. But she did this thing, I don't know if it was 2020 or 2021, so every month there was a different color family, and I would have loved to have bought every month, but I only did February, and I tried to make some socks. Oh, the cream though is not Lay Family Yarn, it's a different yarn dyer, and I lost the yarn information for this cream. It's got these speckles in it that went really well, I thought, with the reds and pinks. And but I think the cream is Ashen Bumble, but I'm not 100% sure if that's, but I'm pretty sure, but I'm not positive. But anyway, I just got this blocked yesterday, and oh, I love it when you block after you've knitted. It just makes everything so nice and smooth and pretty. I was a little worried about where it joined on the back side, but now that it's blocked, it looks really good. You got all the ends woven in, and so there's a couple of spots I'm not thrilled with, but like I said, and by the time this thing gets on my short fat neck, it won't be, nobody's going to see it. So, but I really enjoy knitting cows and shawls. But anyway, that's the Reading Corner cow, and I will link the video where she starts this series. I think I wrote down, it was episode 241 of the Bakery Bears. So that is a finish. Yay. It'll be good for Valentine's. Hopefully it'll be cold enough I can wear it on. It never fails. I keep dreaming of being able to move somewhere where I can wear all these hand knits in the winter, because it never fails. I usually only have like Sunday morning at church. It's the only place I ever wear my knits, and it never fails. I've said that 3 times now, sorry. It'll be cold all week, and then you get to the weekend and Sunday and it's warm, and I wear the hand knits, and then I'm taking it off before church is done because I've gotten hot. So, but anyway, still enjoy making it. And I still have some scraps of yarn that I'm going to have to figure out what to do with. I'm not a big scrappy knitter. I haven't done any scrappy knitting yet. I don't know if you can see back there on the shelf, there's a glass, like flour canister that I've got leftovers of yarn in, and it's full. So I'm going to have to find out or think about something else to put my scraps in. So I got little bits left from that, and but I need to figure out where I can put the leftovers so I can empty this bag and get clean it out and put it back in the spot to use. And then let me get that. The other knitting whip, this one's in timeout as well, because the whole reason I learned to knit was so I could knit socks, and it seems to be not my jam. I always seem to have so much trouble with it. These socks are the Shallow by Kay Litton. She's got a YouTube, The Crazy Sock Lady. Let's see. But that's one of her patterns. And I've had sock 1 done forever and a day. And there's the texture on it. So, I don't know how well that shows up. Hopefully the lighting is okay with it being overcast. And I'm knitting this with Bad Sheep yarn, Fireweed, and it's another 75-25 superwash merino nylon sock weight, fingering weight yarn. So that's hers. So that's, and got to second sock. So I think there's a progress. Excuse the needles. Let's see if I can straighten this up a little. The progress keeper, that's where I was in February. I had the leg pretty much done and was going into the foot. Got down to the toe decreases to finish off the toe, and I'd already done a few rows of the decrease rounds, and I dropped a stitch. And of course it's right on where the decreases are. So I'm like, so anyway, I'm at like, consider myself maybe an advanced beginner knitter. I mean, I've been doing it for like 10 years, but I've never, anyway, still figuring out how to fix stuff. So anyway, when I dropped the stitch on this, I just stuck it back in the bag, and that's where it's been, I think, since the end of February, early March, I don't know. So another one that I need to pull back out and see if I can tink back and get it fixed so I can finish the second sock, because these are another one that have been in a partial stage for too long. But as I say, knitting was one of the hard. I've tried lots of crafts and piddled at lots of different things, and knitting by far was the hardest thing I've ever learned to do. And as I say, I'm finally, you know, figuring out mistakes and picking up stitches and stuff is still a work in progress, shall we say. So when I finished, moving on to the next thing, when I finished that reading corner cowl, I was still in the mood to do knitting. So I had several shawl things kitted up and ready to go. So I went and got my husband and laid things out on the table. I'm like, okay, which one? And he's like, what? They're all shawls. What difference does it make? I'm like, which one? Help me decide. I can't decide. So we went with this one. I say, and this is the Midwestern afternoon shawl, and I'm gonna have put a color picture up here so you can see better what it looks like, because the black and white is not, you can't really see anything about it. But I'm really enjoying this yarn. This was a yarn that I bought from Lolo Did It, and it's on her 75 superwash merino and 25% wool. And this was a color, it's actually dated from 2020, and it was a this speckled, and they're very, I'll say this skein has much more splotches of blue and red in it. This one's got a lot more white in it, so that one end of the shawl is going to have more speckles in it than the top of the shawl. But that's the joy of using hand knit or hand dyed yarn. And then I have she had a Freedom Lolo pack, which is mini skeins. So there's this cream and beige color, and then 2 blues and 2 reds. And so I'm only using the blue and the red. I'm not going to use those other colors in the shawl. And it's the same base, the 75-25. But this is where I've gotten so far, and I'm loving the speckles of blue and red in here. And excuse my pins, there's a 3 round repeat that you do. And I was losing my place, so I started putting in the bulb pins so I could keep my place. So I say, there's my progress keeper. So after this video, I can move it up to the top. And I think I'm on the 15th repeat of this section. But, and I say I had to join, my yarn broke. But, I think this is going to look gorgeous, because it's got 2 more color sections. There's another section of wavy stripes, and then another plain section of the cream, and then the wave section. I don't know what that's called. It's a lace section. But I say, I haven't gotten much cross stitch done so far in May because all I've wanted to work on is this. But that's the back. We don't want to show that. Really enjoying this one. The colors. I love the red, white, and blue combo. I just like that combination. But I joked with Chris when I was working on this that we need to go somewhere like to the Mount Rushmore for the 4th of July. So somewhere up north where it might be even cool enough in the evenings for me to wear this, because heaven knows it won't be cool enough here in Texas. And he was like, yeah, right. Start planning for 2026 or 2027 for that. So anyway, hopefully we'll see how far I get on that for the next video. But yeah, this is all I've wanted to work on here lately. So that's what I've been doing. So, oh, these colors, if you're interested, where am I looking? I was trying not to, I don't know if she still does these, this color thing in the summer, this Loto Freedom pack. But this one is Pride and Joy is the colorway. And all of these colors were, I assume she still dyes them, or they popped up when in the knitting website Ravelry where you can log your knitting projects. The colors came up under her, all except for one. So that was Pride and Joy. This one is Narnia, the dark navy. This one was Red Red Wine. And this one was the only one that didn't come up on the list, the list under her company name in Ravelry, which is a word I can't pronounce. Eladia? I don't know how you say that. So anyway, and then this one, the speckled one, was called Freedom. So, but I say, had it a few years. It was, put all that back in there. But has to say, oh, that's a question I wanted to ask. So if you want to leave a comment, because I know there's other floss tubers that are multi-crafters and do various things, but they try to separate their crafts into sections, so that like those that are only interested in the cross stitch can watch the beginning and then turn things off, or end the video and move on to something else. I personally, I like to see it all, whatever you're working on, mix it up. It doesn't have to be separated, but I'm curious if y'all have preferences. Do you prefer just to show the cross stitch in one section and then that way you can turn the video off and go on to something else, or are you like me and like to watch it all? So hang on, I'm trying to, oh, that's why. I was trying to move my progress keeper and it's gotten stuck. Hang on. So set that aside, do that later. I'm going to say, and this was a bag that I made out of some fabric that I'd bought yardage of. Just love the little cute little doggies. So anyway, that is all of the works in progress and the finishes for the last few months. So plans, I follow, I forgot her first name, Lisa Crossed by Floss, I think is her YouTube channel, and she's a big Mirabila stitcher, and I never thought I would be a Mirabila stitcher. I mean, they're pretty, but I never saw myself starting them. But then I started 3 last year. So anyway, she does something called Mira May every year, where I think she starts 4 new, or every Monday she starts a new Mira, which that I'm not going to do. I got more than enough whips. This is, say, if you've been with me for a while, I started 50 new things last year to celebrate my birthday, so no new starts. But I do want to work on my Mirabilia. So I have 3, and I got started late. I think I didn't pull them out or decide I was going to do it till last Saturday. So it's been a few days, and I've only put in a few stitches in one of them. So I have 3. So I did the math, and it gives me, if I divide it equally, 9 days per piece. So that's my plan for working on for this month, is just my Mirabilias. Hence the reason on those other cross stitch pieces to waiting till June to pull them back out. So if you're not familiar, or the first one I've got a little bit of work done on this week, so I need to, hopefully today and tomorrow and Saturday I can get more done on Miss Cherry Blossom. Is what I pulled out to work on this week, and I say I haven't gotten very much done. I guess technically this should have been in my whip section, but since I'm talking about Mira May, it is stitched on 32 count blush linen from Atomic Ranch fabrics, and it's all DMC, and this fabric never shows up. It's a really, as the name suggests, a really pale pink, which it doesn't show up real well on the video. So, but anyway, I hadn't worked on this since I started it last year, but I had basically this big chunk done. So I've gone in and I was filling in some of the darkest gray in there, and then starting up here, there's another of these pink flowers up here. And this is all in this big section here. So I have that top section to do. So giving myself, I don't know how much I'll get done in the next 3 days, 3.5 days, 2.5 days. Sorry. Anyway, sorry, I keep forgetting my glasses are glaring. So this was project 1, or for my Mira. And then, so the next 2 weeks I have to work on Princess Elliana. See, the clouds are getting darker. This one I think has been a fairly popular one. I've seen a lot on Instagram and social media. And I'm stitching mine on 32 count lavender linen from Atomic Ranch and the DMC. So this purple is a bit different, or a bit darker than the called for. Because if I remember correctly, I'm checking. Yeah, the called for is the peaceful purple that my Mercy and Grace piece is done. So I say this one's a bit darker. So I'll show you the starting point. I say this is where all that I got done last year when I started. And hopefully I can figure out where I am. So hopefully I'll be able to show you some decent progress next month in June's update. But I wanted to show you my starting point on it. And lastly is Ashley's Roses. And this, is this is an out of print chart that I bought on the secondary market. And it's actually the first mirror I thought would be the only one I ever bought and worked on, but I've succumbed to the Mirabilia bug. But Ashley's Roses, and I say you can find it on the secondary market, and it's not too outrageous. But oh, I love this one. I love her earlier ones, and the ones that are out of print, of course. But I'm stitching mine on 32 count Damsel. I don't know if that's even legible. I picture this plus with the called for DMC. And again, this fabric doesn't always show up. Oh, that one's not. Let's say this one and the blush don't show up well on the video camera. But this one I've actually worked on since I started it. I pulled it out, I forgot when, but I've gotten a big section of her. The last time I pulled it out, I got most of this gingham done. So, but I say showing you my starting point. So hopefully in the June video I can show you some decent progress. But this one's my favorite. We'll see see what we can get accomplished. And this one's in a bag by Goose. So, and all the, say, stick that in there. Bag's a little small for all that thread, but make it work. So that's all of the all I've stitched down and plans that I've got going on. So of course Nashville Needlework Market, of course, has come and gone in March, and I had my order in at the Stitch Niche, so I do have some haul acquisitions, but I haven't bought anything since then, so I've been pretty good. I fell in love with Primrose Cottage and their Patriotic Quaker. I love this whole series. I've got I forgot the name of them. The fall one. The Christmas. That's the other one. I've started fall and Christmas. I've got this one. And then I also bought the blue and white quilt. And they both call for the same color and cotton threads. And but I ended up, when I picked up my market order, I went over and picked up and bought colors for these. I don't know if one skein is enough to do both. Sorry. Those are the colors that I picked up, which was Ribbon Red and Classic Colorworks. Weeks Dye Works Grits as my white, and then Weeks Navy for the blue. So got those together. And then I also picked up, and I know this was super popular at market, was Primrose Cottage's Spring Quaker. So I love this whole series. I just think they're fantastic. And I think I mentioned, and I have the Valentine one too. I forgot about that one. So I think I mentioned in my February video, I was thinking of, I don't know if there'll be more that come out this year, but I'll collect them and maybe make that a theme for next year and work on all of these Quaker pillows, as I say, because I love a good Quaker. So my other haul was Lucky Charm by Summer House Stitchworks. Really, really liked that one. Thought that was really pretty. Put out in March. And then, let's see, October House Fiber Arts Americana Blue. Somehow or another, I've gravitated to like a lot of patriotic stuff from market, but I don't think this one's overly. It's just a good sampler. They have another one that they came out with last year or a couple of years ago that's all red. I may have to get it too, but so that one. And then of course I had to get this was a collaboration between Shakespeare's Peddler and Plum Street Samplers, Stars and Stripes. So I had to get both of those. And yes, to say, I have a feeling, they're 110 wide by 110 high. I think they're sizable. Nothing too, they're not small, excuse me. And then I really liked this one from Silver Creek Samplers, the Camper Sampler. I thought that was too cute. My husband and I have dreams of buying an RV and doing more camping. As I say, we did a lot of camping when our kids were growing up because they were both in scouting. And but this girl is not sleeping in a tent on the floor anymore. So, but if you can't read it, it says, crisp, cool air, moonlit night, warm bonfire, stars so bright, dancing flames, ancient lore, embers glowing, make a s'more. Anyway, I thought if we ever get a camper, that would be fun to make and put in the camper. So I thought that was cute. And then lastly was American Welcome from Plum Street. I thought that was, I liked that. I'll say Plum Street is one of those, though, that I like almost everything she ever comes out with. And it says, this land, so you've probably seen and heard all of this, considering market was 2 months ago. But this land, in case you haven't, It says, "This land we love, so vast and free, we honor those who cared for thee. God bless the U.S. of A." So, and I say that's pretty much it. When I went into market, there were on the counter there was a whole rack. Apparently, I don't remember this being so many in years past, but they had a whole bunch of freebies from different designers. So I grabbed 3 of them. One from Nikki's Creations, which has ladybugs and butterflies, and then there's that one from Tiny Modernist, and then I know they're freebies, but I don't know, from Teresa Kogut. I Stitch, That's What I Do. Really liked that one, so I picked those up. And then the last thing I've got, of course, I'd gone into Joann's, I don't remember what for, but it was toward the end of April. So I was surprised. They still had a whole fabric rack of like St. Patrick's Day March fabric, and I saw this one and thought it was, really liked it. So I thought it'd make a cute project bag. So I picked that up. And that is it for acquisitions. That's, I was saying, I've been good, because I say all I bought was my market orders, and that was it. Say, because heaven knows I got more than enough to work on and more than enough in my stash. So as I say, I haven't been quite as tempted here lately, so that's good. But that's all I got for you today. I hope if you liked what I had to share and liked, give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it. And I say I'll try to get back into regular monthly updates and not go so long for my next video. And I think that's all I've got for you folks. Oh, as I say, Sunday is Mother's Day here in the U.S. So I hope that you can spend some quality time with family and celebrate the women in your life. And if this is a difficult holiday for you, I pray that God's healing mercies will be with you and comfort you during this if it's a difficult holiday for you. So anyway, God bless, and I will see you in June. Bye.